Welcome to Nerdgasm Noire Network. It's me, D. And I'm here with Storm, Maria, Melissa, JP, and Tiffany. And today we're here to talk about nerd shit on this today we're here to talk about Sinners on this very special crossover episode. Must-see TV Thursday night. You understand what's going on. But today we're here to talk about Sinners. How is everyone doing today?
Doing okay.
Oh.
I am personally amazed at the speed in which Tiffany just wrapped her hair. I have not seen or had to do that in years. It took me back.
Also, the way that she wrapped her hair, because she split down the middle, and I usually split mine from the middle in the front and then go around.
No, yeah. I used to do it at an angle and then just go like that.
I was always bad at wrapping my hair.
You know what? People on the podcast probably have no idea.
The blackest nerdgasm ever.
I was literally gonna say we're black girling. Black girling a little close to the sun right now. But yeah. Also, people who listen to our podcast definitely understand what wrapping your hair.
I hope so.
I can think of one person who doesn't understand what that means, and she's going to ask us when she hears
We're the same person.
Shout out to Dr. J, the science guy. But anyway, today we are here to talk about Sinners. So we've all seen the movie, right? Mm-hmm. We are all caught up.
No, we haven't. No,
JP,
girl, don't play with me.
I know you saw it because after you saw it, we literally talked.
We added you to the chat.
Like literally, you were coming home from watching the movie on a chat with me, being like, "Oh my god!" So I know you seen it.
So how many times has everybody seen it?
3.
One.
Oh, okay.
Well, I've seen it twice.
Damn. Okay, cool.
I'm trying to catch up with you, D.
Well, the only reason you're going to be able to catch up with me is because I wasn't able to get a ticket for IMAX. So.
Oh, I saw it in IMAX twice.
They had to explain to me on Blue Sky that apparently those IMAX 9mm theaters are only in like a handful of places in the country.
Mm-hmm. So it's 70 millimeters and it's like 8 theaters that were playing it. Because I had also gone to Mall of Georgia, which has that capability, but for whatever reason they didn't play it in 70 millimeter.
Yeah. And even without the IMAX theaters, it wasn't playing in all the theaters, and it didn't have a long run in most of them because they was like making room for Thunderbolts. So like even before that, it was hard to get a ticket. So
yeah, once word of mouth hit the street, getting a ticket was like you had to like literally the first time I saw it after a dentist appointment, and I thought I wasn't going to be able to see it. I just lucked out and was able to I literally finished my dentist appointment 10 minutes before, got to the movie theater and was like, y'all wouldn't happen to have seats available, would you? And she was like, luckily, yes.
Yeah, I had to go see it like near, like before like the end of the workday. So like I love work early so I can beat everybody else to the freaking theater.
I also because a mutual friend of Melissa and I texted me and was like, hey, I'm going to go see it again on Saturday. Do you want to go? And I was like, okay, I guess, because I literally haven't been to the theater since The Blackening came out, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to be at the theater 4 times a week. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go for this one. Right, exactly. And that was like in the second run theater when I did see it. So I don't know. But yeah, so we went that Saturday and then I went the next Saturday. So.
Yeah. Worth seeing it multiple times. It's a very, very good movie. Sure. So I think my first thing that I want to talk about
before we get started, I want to say one thing.
Okay.
One fact. Okay. The worldwide gross at this time is $318,923,158 on a budget of $90 million.
Damn. down to the $8.
Right.
Yes.
I'm surprised you didn't give us change.
Right. And
Hey.
32 cents.
I would if I could. I would have a live update running.
Oh, just like a marquee, just with every time it updates.
Like a stock ticker.
It's made a lot of money. So actually, I think the first thing I want to ask about the movie for you guys is, what is the thing that made you go? Because one of the things that made a lot of people go see the movie was word of mouth. A lot of people went to go see it because they've heard about it from other people. So what was the thing that made you decide that you were going to go see the movie?
Let me go first because y'all answers are going to be positive. So let me go first.
Oh,
I was drug. I'm just saying, because I know your answer is going to be a lot more positive than mine's going to be. I was drugged there against my will. So.
We know who you were drugged there by.
Right. We know. We understand.
Okay, so that's what I just want to get mine out there so y'all can go ahead and be y'all positive.
It was a hot situation.
I have a follow-up question for Storm.
Yes.
Like, did you put up like an argument or a fight about it, or were you just like, yeah, I'm gonna do it because there's no point in fighting? Like, what?
Well, again, we were in one of the random states I've mentioned earlier, and we had nothing else to do. Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Can we please? Can we go?
Please, baby, please."
It's like, fine, I guess. But here's the funny thing: we went to go see it, and this is after he'd finally broken me down. We went to go see it, and it was completely sold out because it was just last minute. We're like, whatever. It was a Tuesday.
You thought
whatever, completely sold out. I was like, oh, guess we can't go see it. So then we're going to go see a different movie because there was 3 different movies he wanted to go see. We're going to see the other movie, sold out, and the other movie had already started. So I was like, screw it, so we just went home. But then we were leaving the next day to go to a different state. And so when we got there, but we had to kill time before the check-in for the hotel. So sure. Yeah, let's do that.
I was gonna ask, so what happened afterwards, but you already went into the hotel.
Right.
How y'all finally saw the movie.
But that theater was completely empty. So it's like we rented the whole place out for us. So
that's
nice. Romantic.
Yeah.
It went from sold out to empty for y'all.
Right.
Right place, right time.
Mm-hmm. All right. Who else? Who has a positive story that's not kidnapping?
Mine is neutral. So let's go from negative to positive.
Okay, we'll go neutral.
So even though I heard about the word of mouth that it was good, I wasn't gonna go because I was like, whatever, I'll see it when it gets streaming. But then same as Storm, I was like, well, I got nothing else to do. Let me go see if there's a seat. And then I got dragged to another thing and I was trying to make it back to the theater and it was sold out. And I was like, well, I can't let this stand. This movie would not beat me. I'm going to see it.
So you went to see it out of spite?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Not it being a challenge.
I was like, whoa, you're not going to sell out on me.
The movie tried to check me and I checked the movie back.
Very JP of you, JP.
Alrighty. Melissa, what was yours? Since we're going into the positive now.
I mean, honestly, it was definitely peer pressure. Mine's only
that's
only
not
thing.
positive.
So here's why though. It's positive peer pressure.
Okay.
Because I knew everybody, like I knew y'all were gonna see it, and I was like, I can't be the only one that didn't. And because I don't usually go to the movies, I don't go to movies a lot. Like the last time I went to before this, I was with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
wow.
Yeah, I don't go. But I had a conference. I had a conference in a white suburb. That theater was less than half of it. And also, little spoilers came out as well. And so I knew the more time I let go by, the more danger I was in of being completely spoiled. I will say, and this is again, with all due respect, when I saw that it was starring Michael B. Jordan, I did pause. I was like, I don't know. I'm still laughing about that last line in Wakanda. Because you need to throw me over the with my ancestors who know what it's like to be free. I still laugh. I'm laughing right now.
So I will say that at the end of last year, someone in the Nerdgasm Discord, Shane, shout out to Shane, actually posted the trailer for this movie. And Shane is from the UK, so Shane posted the trailer for the movie and was like, "What? I don't know if I'm just not hearing it right because I'm not from the US, but what accent is Michael B. Jordan trying to do?" And we were like, "Girl, we don't know." We don't know. And I was skeptical. I was skeptical of it when I saw the accent in the trailer, but then when I saw upcoming trailers, it scared me less. But continue, Melissa. I'm sorry.
No, that's right. I was saying that was it. So it was peer pressure. The only thing that stopped me from going faster was, one, I don't feel like going to the movies. Two, I'm going to root for Michael B. Jordan, but he's very off and on with me. He's very inconsistent. So I was like, am I going to pay a regular ass price? You know, because like movies not cheap no more, and I got to have popcorn. So I'm glad I took a shot, so it ended up being positive in a way.
All right. Does anyone have an actual positive one, or do we have another semi-positive one that we need to get in?
I have a positive one.
Okay.
So I heard about this movie probably a year ago, I think. And I saw that it was going to be Ryan Coogler and Wunmi Wasaku and also Ludwig Göransson for the soundtrack. And it was going to be vampires in the South. And I was like, that's all I need to know. I'm sold. So I literally did not look up anything else. And when I got to the theater and saw that he was playing twins, I had no idea who was playing twins. I had to ask my friend. I was like, he playing twins in this? He was like, yeah. You didn't see the I was like, I have no idea.
There was two of them. There was two of the same niggas standing next to each other.
Didn't see him. The only things that I had seen showed him in like the undershirt. And at that point it was just one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think the because I knew that he was playing twins, but I think the trailer that was in the Nerdgasm chat never showed them together, because I think they were saving that special effect tidbit for the movie.
Yeah, I think it was a teaser trailer, and I was like, that's all I need to see. I'll be there.
There you go. All right, Tiffany, what about you? What made you go see it?
So I remember when it was announced, like I was always gonna go see it. The thing I said when it was announced and I heard the plot was like, who's gonna do the acting? Because like I like Michael B. Jordan. I do. Like I'm rooting for him 10 toes down. But his acting, like the early acting, it gave Lisa Ray in the Players Club. Like you remember when she walked in and was like, "You seen Ebony?" Like that's what his acting reminded me of. But he has gotten, to be fair, he has gotten so much better. Like that second Creed movie was when I saw the shift. So I was always gonna go see it. I wasn't sure I was gonna go see it in the theaters though. But like that first week it dropped, everybody on Blue Sky, like that was the only thing people were talking about. It was the only thing people were talking about on TikTok. And so I was like, let me get my tickets before it gets ruined for me. So that's what made me go see it in the theater, because I was on the fence about it, honestly. But yeah, I think he acted well in the movie. Like I think
I think this is
grown.
best acting yet.
Absolutely. I've never been really a fan of Michael B. Jordan's performances. Like he's okay. He has enough charisma for you to not like hate what he's doing. But
no, wait, I don't mean it in a mean way.
When I say hate what he's doing, I mean like Gal Gadot levels, okay?
Right.
Like I can stand to watch Michael B. Jordan as opposed to Gal Gadot. But Ryan Coogler always gets the best performances out of him. So I was like, I'll go with it.
Yeah, I'm kind of neutral on Michael B. Jordan because like I do appreciate an actor that would choose scenery, but I know he's not doing it on purpose all the time. So I'm just like, I need you to be doing this on purpose, because you know that people eat up dramatic, over the top acting sometimes. But
a little camp.
Yeah.
So I will say this. I do agree that this is one of the best performances that Michael B. Jordan has done. Like, I am also a person who like never really was really big on his performances. Like even with Black Panther, I think he did a good job in Black Panther up until that line.
Yeah.
And that line made me go, damn, Michael, I was rooting for you, but not and it's not his fault. He didn't write the line, but it's not a good line.
I was like, was that the best take?
But I do have I think one like Maria said, I think that Ryan Coogler pulls very good performances out of Michael B. Jordan, right? So like I think Ryan Coogler is a very, very good director. He's a very, very good story writer. Like he is, I didn't realize that he did Fruitvale Station in grad school. Yeah, he was in grad school when he did Fruitvale Station. So like he's very, 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 very talented movie maker. And I think one of his talents is being able to like pull that performance out of him. I think most people, when they hire Michael B. Jordan, they're like, he's attractive. That's enough. And I think Ryan Coogler is Storm.
Storm has this look on her face.
No, I'm sorry. No.
Confusion.
Yes, it's exactly what it is. I am so confused because maybe I haven't seen enough Michael B. Jordan movies, but I am not understanding the criticism of his acting skills.
I don't think he's I think in most of the things that he is in, whatever he is in is relying on his looks, not so much whatever talent he may or may not have, right? Because sometimes he does have a tendency to be very flat in some of his roles. Most of the time when I see him not being flat in that way is when he's in a movie with Ryan Coogler.
I will say,
go ahead.
I feel like I'm a Michael B. historian. I have watched him since All My Children.
You're just an old lady who likes soap operas is what it is.
Okay, tomato. But I think that it's not even that he's a bad actor. For me, it's inconsistent. I don't know what I'm going to get. He was in Parenthood. That was fucking awful.
He was in Fahrenheit 451, and that was
so awkward.
He was in The Wire, and that was pretty all right.
To me, it was fun and Chronicle. Loved him on that one. Loved him as Wallace. Of course, I don't have any quotes by him. Just the one where D'Angelo was like, "Where's the boy street? Where's the boy street?" But okay, he was talking about Michael B. Jordan's character. For those that have not watched The Wire for some reason, okay. Should really just get on it. I don't understand. Yeah, so I don't think that he's.
I was just gonna say I haven't seen any of these movies you guys mentioned, so maybe that's what it is. So
you got to go back to the history.
Watch Fahrenheit 451.
Because I'm also approaching it from a different angle because I don't think Michael B. Jordan is attractive.
Oh no, I'm not sexually attracted to Michael B. Jordan.
He looks like Steve Harvey.
Can I just say one thing? So I was in the camp that I can objectively see why people thought he was attractive. I myself did not think he was attractive until
this movie.
Until
I'm with JP 100% on that because I was like, oh, he's cute. Everybody's like, oh my God, Michael B. Jordan's so fine. I was like, no, I can see it. He fine sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, he fine sometimes. And then in this movie, I was like, damn, Michael B. Jordan, fine.
For me, Michael B. Jordan reminds me of my cousin, and so I have never been attracted to him. No, he is fair. Like my little cousin.
My cousins don't look like that, so I'm good.
I thought he was like really attractive and everything until he started dating Lori Harvey. Then he started growing that mustache. Then he started looking like Steve Harvey from the mustache down. And I can't do it no more. Like I can understand it, but I don't feel it anymore.
Over here, king shaming.
It makes perfect sense to me that he wanted to marry her.
Because he's trying to
it's like him and Steve were starting to like become one.
Yes, so I was like, damn, we do need our daddies, don't we? No.
JP, what were you gonna say?
Swear to God, y'all. I don't say it was with this Steve Hart. Okay, anyway. But here's the caveat. Outside of this movie, I still go back to like, I can see why it's only in the movie that he's attractive. And not even me thinking of him as Michael B. Jordan, but thinking of him as Smoke and Stack.
Okay, then let's ask the question. No.
Next question. No, I'm doing it. Which one? Smoke or stack? Which one?
Which one do y'all think?
Hey, hold on. Time out. We doing this in a line. I'm calling people out because everybody's answering this one. JP, I'm gonna let you go first.
No, I want y'all to guess which one.
Oh, which one for you?
Yes.
Smoke, because you don't want to talk to nobody. Both of y'all could be at home. Both of y'all could be at home minding y'all businesses together.
That is very correct.
All right. Tiffany, what about you? Smoke or stack?
Smoke. Stack was a little too all over the place. Like, I think I appreciated like the quiet violence of Smoke.
Melissa, smoke or stack?
Again, I'm very uncomfortable because the actor reminds me of my little cousin. So taking out the actor of it, going on personality alone.
You're the only person who's worried about that.
I really am. I needed a disclaimer because I've
She's
told
like,
people,
God, I hope my little cousin just listens to this podcast.
it is funny because Michael B. Jordan is like a year younger than me, or older. We're about the same age, but he reminds me of
I think he's between me and
38.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, but he reminds me of my cousin who's like at least 6 years younger than me. But I would say personality wise, Smoke. I like bills to be paid. No, I meant that.
Smoke is the quiet one. No,
Smoke is the quiet one who will pay bills. Stacks he got too much ambition. He gonna want to go outside, do some shit. I don't feel like it. I'm not going to do that. So, Smoke.
All right, Maria, what about you?
Stack to fuck, Smoke to marry.
This is not marry, fuck, kill. You got.
Well,
Storm, what about you? Which one's for you?
As a person who's dating a stack, Smoke.
Didn't think you were gonna do that there.
You want to know what? Yeah, you're right.
I get it.
I'm not gonna lie. This is how I know I'm autistic because I love trains, so I'm not picking.
Hey, hold on.
Wow.
I knew somebody.
She said Negress in Paris. That's what she said.
Hold on a goddamn Negro minute. You went over here talking about we gotta pick. And
right.
Honestly and truly, okay, I will pick. Okay, and my response is probably going to be very similar to Storm's. As a person who is currently dating a Smoke, I want to stack.
Mm-hmm.
Storm gets me.
Mm-hmm. I can see it.
And you want to know what? It's not even just like it's personality wise. Like I like the outgoingness, blah 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 blah. But also it's a little bit that silver fucking tooth. I love a country nigga. I can't
that's what killed it for me. I was like, can't even.
Oh, as soon as I saw the tooth, I was like, oh god damn it. This is bad for me in particular. But honestly and truly, if we expanded the options, the person I would actually pick would be Bo.
Yeah.
Because again, I like bills paid, and also I like all of the men in the movie were very adoring of the women that they were attracted to.
Mm-hmm.
But
Bo
was very considerate of Grace, but then also of everyone else. You could tell Bo was a person who like loved being where he was.
Which one's Bo? The preacher boy?
Mm-hmm.
No, Bo, the Chinese guy.
Oh, okay.
Not preacher
boy.
Preacher boy's too young is the problem.
Yeah,
like he's very cute. He's very cute, but he's a baby. He's only like 19.
Yeah. Is that how he is? How old he is in the movie?
Mm-hmm.
That's how old he is I think he's only 20 in real life. Yeah, he's young.
And that's his voice?
Yeah.
That's his voice. He is the son of a gospel singer.
That makes sense. Girl.
The voice would have did it for
me. He's been singing backup for her for a while. And she was the one who encouraged him to go out for the role.
Oh, that's sweet.
His mother is a famous gospel singer, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I like that. I like
that. His mom. Or what's her name?
We will look it up. While I'm looking it up, I had another question. Okay, so one of the things that there's a lot of talk around the movie about like the different symbolisms in the movie, right? Both like folklorically and then also different symbolisms about like, just American culture in general, right? One of the things that popped up a lot on TikTok was around the character of Remmick. Remmick, if you don't know, is the white ass vampire, Irish but white ass vampire, right? So there's a lot of mixed feelings about Remmick, but as far as like, actually, I'm going to say in general, what do you guys think of Remmick as a character?
Assimilation.
And perhaps I am the only one. I'm not saying he was completely wrong. Like that's the shit that really got me. I was like, damn, do I agree with this guy?
So here's the thing.
Let's see.
I agree with you. I don't think he was completely wrong, but I think what he wants family, he wants community, this, that, and the other, right? He went about it the wrong way, but I think that also has to do with, like JP said, the theme of assimilation, right? Go ahead, JP, go ahead.
It's the appeal of assimilation because especially if you know the history of Irish people coming over to this country, they were not treated well. And they realized unless they assimilate, they would get better treatment. So that appeal of safety, of supposedly community, but it's not really community. It's paying the price of losing your community to be seen as white. You have to give up your culture. You have to give up your ancestry. You have to give up so much to assimilate just to give the safety of that assimilation.
Go ahead, Tiffany.
So I think the assimilation leads to the culture vulture aspect of it, because what he was seeking was he wanted Sammy's voice. He wanted Sammy's music. They wanted Annie's powers. They wanted to, like, as they assimilated into you, they took over you. So the same thing that basically Europeans did. They conquered you, and then they assimilated you if you fit. And from that assimilation, the idea is that you become homogenous, that you become incorporated into them as the dominant culture. So that was what I found. And just, I guess the way the entire thing just represented the way our culture gets consumed. Black culture specifically gets consumed by everyone here, like bits and pieces of it goes everywhere. Like that Pick Poor Robin Clean song. It was a black blues song that was then assimilated into country music. And so the symbolism and the themes, like I think that was my favorite part of the movie. And there's just so many ways that you can just keep digging and come up with an entirely new perspective.
And I think specifically, I was going to say, I think specifically Remmick being Irish American, or I think specifically Remmick being Irish is very important in that. Okay, so like if you think of the vampirism as like a sort of like power, right? Like you're trying to get this sort of power and like it's a limited power that you can have, right? And like JP said, it's about assimilation and being able to find family and things like that, but also it's being able to control other people as well, like being able, because like if you look, there's it's give and take on like whether or not the people who are under his control are actually thinking for themselves, or if they're being told what to do by him or whatever. But like it's that grasp for power, and also how much you lose out of it when you grasp for that power, and how much that power is actually dangerous to have, and how you take that power that you get and you hurt other people, even if I'm not going to say he didn't mean to, because I think he's so far gone that, yeah, he did mean to hurt people. But even if you don't mean to, that power and that privilege and that assimilation, you end up hurting others in the process.
He thought he was helping.
Mm-hmm. Maria, go ahead. I'm sorry.
He's a very classic victim becomes victimizer. Because even though they call him Irish, he's really more Gaelic at that point, because when they're introducing Christianity to Ireland at that point, it's not really Ireland. They're still Gaelic. But anyway, yeah, so it's very much like how the Irish became white in America, and really how any group becomes white in America or more privileged in America is showing a sustained, committed, dedicated, violent commitment to anti-Blackness, right? And he's thinking, oh, I can use the tools that my oppressor used on me to create this whole other new community. No, you can't. That's not how that works.
That's not how community works.
Right.
JP?
Oh, I was just going to mention earlier, I know people are saying like that he wanted Annie's power, but I don't think he wanted her power. I think that part of her was completely ignored. I think the part was he was turning people because he was hoping, if I have someone you care about, it'll be easier to bring you over to my side. I think the reason why they, at least with Stack and Mary, so gun-ho on getting Andy was to get Smoke. Because if Stack couldn't turn Smoke, Andy definitely would have been able to turn Smoke.
And then if he had Smoke, if he had Smoke, he could get, basically in his mind, if he had Smoke, he could get to Sammy.
Yeah.
Because Sammy, to be quite honest, for a good chunk of the beginning of the movie, you could tell Sammy adored his cousins. Like, he looked up to them. And so, like, all he needed was to have Smoke go, you know what, this is a good idea. And Sammy would have been like, yes, Stack did it, but, Stack's a fuck around. But if Smoke's gonna do it,
then I kind of have to.
Right. Tiffany, what were you gonna say?
So my favorite line of the movie is at the end when, the post credit, like Twitter or Blue Sky told me to stay for that, and so the post credit where Stack and Mary are walking out the door, and he goes, "Was that the best night for you?" or whatever it was, how he said it, and he sounded so childlike, because he adored them. Like, he looked up to them. It's classic little cousin, big cousin type relationship that you see. And so I just wanted to shout that
before the sun went down, that was the best night of my life. Is that the same for you? And they say yes, which is also an admission that everything Remmick was trying to tempt him with wasn't real. Because how can that be the best part of your life if you have the rest of eternity?
Yeah. Damn.
Y'all got
all right. It's interesting to hear y'all talk about this, because honestly, while I was watching it, there was a point in the movie where I forgot that they were going for a preacher boy until the end, when they were in the water, when the sun was rising. I was like, oh right, they're here for him, because it was so focused on Smoke and Stack.
Well, yeah, and like, I think this is another thing that I find with Ryan Coogler and his storytelling, because like, one of the things that one of the criticisms I've seen of this movie is that it's very formulaic. And I'm not even going to say that it's not. It is very formulaic. It very much follows like 3 acts. Like, it follows the hero's journey, all of that shit, right? But the thing about it is even though it's formulaic, even though it foreshadows and sort of projects all the things that are going to happen later on in the movie, it's done in such a way that, like, you are waiting for those moments. You're looking for those moments because you want to see even if you kind of know something bad is going to happen, you want to see, like, how does this person get turned? How does this end up tragic for this person? How does this person get away? Go ahead, JP.
So just to add on to what you said, so like, this didn't really click with me. And this is probably why I enjoy the movie so much versus like other more formulated movies, is because it kind of followed the storytelling that you will find in animes. And I watch a lot of anime. So
Ryan Coogler loves an anime.
Yeah.
He does.
It's very
so does Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah. So the way that the acts were set up follows that kind of formula if you ever watch animes, where it's very focused on the characters and like how they are at the beginning versus hard decisions that they had to make towards the end. And like I God, you know what? That YouTube video explains it a lot better, but it's a different storytelling device because a lot of people's complaining about like, oh, it's too slow, it doesn't get to the action quicker because it's trying to build this world, build these characters and what like how their relationships kind of either informs or blocks their wishes for this type of life or type of feeling that they want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What I will say, I actually want to add on to that as well, because like you said that it's like anime. That's one of the reasons why, like Storm was saying, like she kind of forgot that they were after Preacher Boy because until the end of the movie, right? It, like you said, it does that anime thing where it's like there is this MacGuffin or there's this goal, but focus on the goal. It doesn't just focus on the goal at the expense of the other characters. The other characters going through what they're going through is also important, is as important as the goal is. But I think also that's what makes the formulaicness work, you know, because you get to see what's going on with all of these other people and get to go through that emotional growth with each and every one of them, not just Preacher Boy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because for me, there's a moment in the movie. I think it was like we were like halfway through the movie, and I turned. I was like, "Are these supposed to be vampires?" It's like, what is happening?
Well, then also I do like the fact that it did take them a long time to get to the vampires, because even if you got no spoilers in the movie, everybody was like, "Oh, surprisingly, it's a vampire movie. It's a vampire movie, right?" And that actually worked to the movie's advantage because now you're waiting, because like you get to see Remmick when Remmick finally shows up. And you see that he's like a vampire, right? And then then it pulls you back into the juke joint where everybody's just chilling. And you're just like, oh my God, you guys, there's danger out there. You guys, there's danger out there. What are you doing? And then when Remmick and them show up, you're like, I mean, good that you guys are very concerned, but also you need to be more concerned. Like the movie feels like it's almost having like the conversation with you. Like, and I think I was telling my sister this the other day. One of the things I do like about Black people in movies is like whenever we're watching a movie or a TV show, we're having a conversation with what we're watching. It's not just us watching the thing. It's like, girl, why you do that? Why you do that? And I think Ryan Coogler understood this, and Ryan Coogler was like, yeah, why did she do that? You're finna find out.
Okay, so this so how it's set up remind me of another anime that I watched, because like they give you a tidbit of what shit goes down near the end, just a little taste. It reminds me of when I first watched Berserk. So you knew some fucked up shit happened from the beginning. And now you have to go through this whole thing. You know something bad happened. You be like, okay, is this the bad thing? Oh no, it's not the bad thing yet. Is this the bad thing? Oh no. Well, that's bad. How much worse could it get? And then when you finally get to the bad thing, you are so emotionally exhausted. And that's how I felt in Sinners. I was like, oh, everything is great. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh, it's getting worse. It's getting worse.
Yeah, the opening scene is very much like, it reminded me of like those classic movies from the 90s where it's like, I bet you wonder how I got here, covered in blood in my daddy's church. But I did appreciate the way the story was structured, getting to know everybody in the community and things like that, because we have that scene towards the end where Smoke is thinking about all the people that he's lost. And none of that would have made any impact if we had not met these people.
Yeah. Also, shout out for it being Saul Williams, who was the pastor. I did not catch that at first. I saw his name at the end. I said, well, now who the fuck was Saul Williams? And then
where was Saul at? Wait a minute.
It's like, was it a blinking and missing?
Crush on him when he was on Girlfriends, when he played Savat. Oh my God. Like that was when, like, that's the only time in my life where I have ever liked spoken word poetry.
I'm glad
I was ready to go, like, snap my fingers. Like,
I'm glad I'm not alone in not really liking spoken word poetry. I can't do it, y'all. I'm so sorry. All right. No, go ahead and finish.
I was gonna say, when you think about it, Saul Williams was just playing another spoken word artist in this movie.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just the word of
spoken
God.
word for the Lord.
The word of God.
For the Lord.
The spoken BIBLE.
Won't he do it?
I like how people pointed out how that's just the perfect he was just the perfect example of Christianity, like modern 2025 Christianity, right? Because you see your son come in bloody, bruised, looking like he's been to hell and back, and you're like, are you ready to put that music down now? Are you ready to leave
Instead
the
of being
world?
like, are you okay?
Right, like it just goes completely over his head, and that's just. And I'm a missionary Baptist church, born and bred. Like I love my Jesus as much as the next person, but it just nails Christianity in a way that I don't know I would have ever been able to articulate. So I appreciated that.
Yeah, because he and Remmick are the opposite sides of the same coin.
Yep.
They both want him to use his gift the way they see fit. And we even have that dark baptism with Remmick. And we can definitely gather that he had that regular baptism with his father.
That was my scene. When Remmick started doing the prayer, I said,
okay.
First of all, I love it when a vampire story debunks a lore that we've just all believed.
While we're on this subject, one of the things that I've seen talked about a lot is the idea of belief, right? So like during the whole movie, Annie was like, okay, well, these are the things that vampires don't like, right? They don't like garlic. They don't like wooden stakes, killing, blah, 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 which is basic vampire stuff, right? And so one of the things that I've seen going around is that it doesn't work if you don't believe. Like the Lord's Prayer didn't work for Sammy because Sammy's not really that religious. It was his dad who was religious. The thing that did work though was the guitar, because there was silver in that guitar, supposedly. But I also think it was Sammy's belief in the music and Sammy's power in the music. The reason that the Mojo bag worked for Smoke wasn't because he believed in hoodoo. Smoke didn't give a shit about hoodoo, but he loved and believed in his wife, and that's why it protected him from all of the stuff that he had been through. And I go ahead.
Just to add on what you said right quick, also why it unfortunately didn't work for the child, because the child was just a little newborn, so it wasn't able to develop belief yet.
Yeah, and then we have the movie opening with the chorus in the church singing "This Little Light of Mine," and then at the very end, past the credits, we have Sammy singing "This Little Light of Mine," because it's that light. That's the thing that he believes in, and that's the music that he plays. That's what saved him.
Yeah.
That scene reminded me of what my grandma would always say: the devil knows the Bible better than you do. And so that was exactly thought when Remy was like, "Yeah, I love that. That's my song." Let's go. My grandma would have loved this moment.
But you don't know nothing about that one.
What you know about this?
So the second time I went to see it, when it got to that point where he started saying when Sammy started saying the prayer, there was somebody in the audience who was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Oh,
girl, you don't even know. You don't even know,
girl."
But you said, "Hold on for a minute. That's not gonna be what you think it is."
You cheering some song.
Can I just say, in the theater at that part when Sammy was starting to say the prayer, and then Remnant, remember? Why do I keep wanting to call him that?
A revenant and Remmick.
Yeah.
Well, he is a revenant, sort of.
Yeah, but when he starts saying it, there was the sound that everybody made was like, oh, like.
So let me tell you, when I watched the movie, because I live in Calabama, so it was like there was a younger white couple next to me, and then there was an older white couple next to me, right? And so the younger white couple is the one that was there was the girl. She at the beginning of the movie, she was just like, oh my God, everything's so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm hearing her talking to her boyfriend, right? And then when it gets to like all of the bad stuff, she just gets so sad. And then when that part with Remmick happens, she's just bawling. Just like, oh my God, it's so, why won't he leave them alone? She was so upset.
I'm like, Sammy ain't making out of this.
She's like, why would he leave him alone? He wouldn't do anything. He just wants to make music.
Oh my God,
I was like,
this
girl,
white woman. I ain't never met her. I never
That's
will.
hilarious.
girl.
Can I just say, during that garlic scene, there would have been 3 extra casualties for no fucking reason.
Right.
Okay, so here's the thing. I think I'm under the firm belief that Delta Slim, while he wasn't a vampire, Delta Slim, part of the reason that Delta Slim was having a problem is because I think Delta Slim's story is supposed to be that of like selling your soul at the crossroads and getting a talent, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's part of the reasons why he had an issue with the garlic. And I also think that there was something because it kind of hinted that he had a power. I think it was trying to hint that he had the same power as Sammy, but I don't necessarily think that he does. I think that he has some sort of supernatural thing going on with him in a more evil sense, and that's why the garlic wasn't really working for him. Pearline, though, girl.
She got shot.
Wait. I want to go back to Delta Slim because I'm
Yeah, I
very
think he was just
simplistic.
fucking around.
That's what I'm saying. I am. So for me, I really do feel like with as much as Delta Slim drinks,
Yes,
I would have been annoyed as fuck if he ate that garlic smooth. Like, are you kidding me? This nigga he has been drinking this entire time. There are only so many, there's only so much acid your stomach's gonna take real smooth. There's only so much. Like when he joked about shitting himself, I was like, I bet you did.
right.
You drank all that shit and raw garlic.
How much corn whiskey have you had today? Right.
So maybe he is supernatural. I'm saying he was drunk. So.
He was drunk because he had a bottle. Every scene he had a bottle somewhere near him.
He was drunk all day.
He'd have got shot. She'd have got shot. The Asian lady would have got shot. And Preacher Boy would have got shot. There'd been 4 extra dead bodies in that juke joint. I'm just saying.
Yeah, why didn't you Preacher Boy?
Yes, because when the girl wouldn't eat the garlic, he was like, relax, she ain't no vampire. Shut when he popped him in the mouth.
Yeah.
Like,
nah, he said I've been up in that puss. It wasn't no vampire.
I done shot you twice.
He's like, I would know.
Like, nigga, you the reason they here.
So one of the themes of the movie, again, we can go back to like assimilation, right? And so I think it's very, very important, not just like historically, because Mississippi Chinese people do exist. Y'all have seen the videos of that old Chinese lady who is country as hell, who has a Chinese accent that is also very Southern.
Look up Chinese in the Delta on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. But one of the themes in that movie is how other people of color, there we go, interact with Black culture. And so like there was that whole thing around Grace, how like they were part of the community, they were accepted and accepting of everybody else, but when shit hit the fan, Grace was like, we gotta go. Now, I understand why Grace did it because her daughter was at home, right? Like that's probably why a bunch of people just was like, well, we getting the fuck up out of here because niggas is wilding. I got kids or somebody that I care about at home, blah, 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 blah. However, I also understand why everybody's mad but then again, that white devil did speak Chinese.
Well, no, see, I have no problem with her
waited 5 minutes for them to get prepared.
Right, I have no problem with her leaving and everybody else leaving. When she invited them in,
yeah, no, I get
and
it.
She didn't even kill her husband. She didn't even kill her husband.
She did kill him. She did kill him. She went for him specifically.
So here's the thing.
Herself and him on fire.
So here's the thing. She specifically, like, there was 2 reasons why Grace wanted to make sure that she got to Bo. One, because Remmick was pulling information from the people he turns brains. She knew fire was the thing that could kill them. And Remmick had already threatened their daughter. So, and 2, because her and Bo were so very much in love. You could tell they were so very much in love. So she was like, 1, this motherfucker's not getting my daughter. 2, if we gonna be out this bitch, we out this bitch together. And so when he came in, she went immediately for him and set them both on fire. Tiffany, go ahead.
I think Grace is the perfect example of the people of color not listening to Black people. Like, we tell you word for word, bar for bar, this is what's going to happen. And you go out and do the exact opposite. And now we're all screwed. And I think, like, yeah, that's all I have to say. Like,
right. Like, I feel like Grace did have a point, but the fact is she couldn't wait 5 minutes for them to get their bearings and say, okay, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this. Let's get our
They weren't coming up with the plan. They had this whole time to come with a plan. They weren't coming up with shit.
They work up like their plan was basically.
But also,
their
this
plan
is a
was
vampire movie. They're gonna fight vampires at some point. She cannot escape the script.
No, that's 100% true. But I do not agree with the thing with the point that they had a plan. They did have a plan. They were trying to make sure that they were, because Annie told them they can't come in unless we invite them. Literally, the linchpin in the thing was him threatening her daughter, and that's what made her. And I completely understand it.
Did y'all see that little
and
girl?
She also mentioned everybody else in town as well, because the KKK is also on the way.
Well, they didn't know that. Nobody knew that.
They did know that. They did know that. They knew that. They knew that.
At that point, they did, because Remmick had told them. But
did y'all see that little girl standing in the window? Like, did she look like somebody that was gonna be scared or afraid or vulnerable? Like, she looked mean as hell.
Yeah, she was mean. She looked mean as hell, but that's still her mama, though.
Right.
Her mama's still gonna be.
The plan was for them to wait until morning, right? Because they also knew that vampires couldn't survive in the daytime.
And to be quite honest, they did not know. They were told by Remmick, but also they didn't know if they could believe Remmick. At that point, I think the only person who probably really knew that they could believe Remmick was Grace, because he had said that he got it from the 2 racist white people that he had turned. And then when Remmick turned around and said that stuff in Chinese, then Grace was like, oh, he's not kidding. Like, this is all fucked, right? But
they discussed it with the team, right? Like, at that point, they kept her there.
At that point, the script is like, we gotta fight vampires now.
I do think she should have discussed it with the team before she started inviting in vampires. But I get why she did it. Like, she's scared and emotional, and it's fucked up all around. Everything is a bad situation. Yes. Her concern mostly was her daughter, and because I don't even think she was even thinking. I think the main thing was, like, even if she knew that information, like, she's like, oh yeah, he's telling the truth. Her main thing is, my daughter's in trouble, and that's why I'm like, come in here and get me instead.
She does talk specifically about the other people in town as well.
She does.
She says, do you think they're not going to go back there and turn them to all the folks you love in town?
Well, I mean, yeah, sure, but 5 minutes for them to get a gun.
They got a runtime. They got a runtime.
Movie. Well, here's the thing. We know that Grace is in a movie. Grace don't know she in a movie. Girl. You need to talk to somebody first.
I wonder though if Grace is kind of like not a Greek chorus, but sort of. I'm taking this to reality television. There's always a person in reality television that seems like on like a Bravo show. It seems like they're also viewing this, like they're also in the audience. So they're saying what the audience is thinking. And by the time Grace does that, you talked about how the buildup goes. We're waiting for this vampire movie, and we are waiting for a fucking vampire fight. Like, I was mad at Grace, but then I also was a little bit relieved. Like, fucking finally. We've been talking about this shit for a minute. Let's just get to it.
She does release the tension in that. And you can even see it in the interaction, because you see everybody like grabbing onto her and trying to keep her quiet and being like, hey, we got to think about this. We got to think about this. And then she finally just is like, nah, come in, motherfuckers. And lo and behold, it happens. Like, she's definitely partially like an example of the tension finally being released. Linchpin. There we go. But again, we know she's in a vampire movie. She don't know she in a vampire movie. She just want to save her daughter.
But in every other vampire movie, they at least have time to prepare.
No, they don't.
They had time to prepare their weapons, and that was it.
Barely.
She's lost her husband. He's threatening sexual things to her, and then he mentioned her daughter. Oh, you know what? And the KKK coming in the morning. You know what?
Because here's the thing. Because honestly and truly, let it have been. Okay.
Let's say grab a gun first.
Time out. Let's say we're in the movie, right? We don't know we're in the movie. Think about the person you love the most in the world. If Remmick came up to you and was like, I'm about to go after whoever it is you love the most in the world. Now, me personally, I would have ran out there and been like, motherfucker, what? But that's because I'm a little and feisty.
I would have been throwing Molotov. Like, first of all, I would not have left that goddamn building. I've been throwing fire at them. I was like, all right, Irish jig on this.
Because they were begging to get in. Like, we haven't talked about the whole Cornbread scene where he's outside tap dancing trying to get in, saying we just need to be kind to one another. So they were desperate. Yeah, like they were desperate to get in that building. I never got the sense that, okay, well, if we can't get in here, we're gonna head to the next spot. Like, I never got that sense.
Remmick definitely just wanted Sammy. But again, it's the thing where we are watching the movie. So we're like, girl, you ain't got to do that. He not going nowhere. But she don't know that. She in the movie. So she like, well, fuck you. I'm going to kill my husband and you're not going to get to my daughter. Like, I get it. I don't agree. It's the same thing. It's the same thing how I feel with Remmick. I get it, but you're not doing it right.
Like, I feel like movie me. I hate small talk, but my ass will been small talking, just looking at the sky. Yeah,
trying to waste time.
I don't know. You know what? Hold on. Let me see if I can talk to Sam. You're gonna have to give me
more.
Trying
to run down the clock.
Movie me would have been like, I'm not leaving this building. There's fucking vampires out there. What are you talking about? And then they would have been like, we're going after your sister. And I would have been like, you going after who, motherfucker? I think the fuck not.
Also, the KKK is on the way, so how are we gonna battle them as well?
I don't care about the KKK right now. You said you was going after my sister. I'm finna get your ass. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it.
How you get over here?
Honestly, zombie apocalypse rules apply. Once you find out that vampires are real.
Wait, what?
What are these?
Zombie apocalypse rules.
Everybody for themselves.
I'm sorry.
Look, I would have been talking that Irish vampire ear off. Like, I ain't never heard her talk this much in my look. I am
okay. So this is what we know. If JP get real friendly, there's some supernatural shit going on.
I would just be a vampire.
But basically,
like, I'm selling out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If you're gonna turn my sister, then okay, we're a package deal. So bring her when she's here. Then you got me.
Yeah, no.
But until then, there's 4 extra dead bodies in here because they refuse to eat this garlic because zombie apocalypse rules apply. I'm sorry.
When Pearline had that problem, I immediately said, "Oh, she would hide a zombie bite." I was like, "No."
I thought that too. I was like, "Oh, damn, she got bit and just didn't tell nobody."
I immediately shot her. It didn't matter
because I was sitting there thinking,
and her body. I was at the door,
literally sitting there thinking, like, when could she have gone outside and gotten invited back inside, and I didn't notice it. Because I was trying to think of it, because I was like, who all went outside? We only ever really seen Cornbread go outside.
Was running in and out of that freaking building.
Well, no, because the only ones that had gotten in the building before that point was Mary, because she got invited in,
right?
And Stack, because he got changed in the building.
Because all I know is like, who chomp you on the way out? How you get chomp on the way out?
I would have been out by the fireside, learning a river dance, figuring things out until the next night. I got no problems.
So
it is very on brand for Melissa.
I'm gonna be for real. Like, Remnant was kind of attractive. I was like, oh, okay, you kind of cute.
I don't think his pupils are always dilated. Like, have y'all watched his interview?
Jack O'Connell's he's very attractive. I first saw him in Skins on that British Broadcasting Company show.
You could just say BBC.
I know I've been warned not to say it that way, so especially in combination with Skins.
Oh yeah, you know what? Fair.
Because like on he was young on Skins, so I was like, oh, okay, but yeah, he grew up nice.
No, but I will say I feel the same way about him as I feel about Michael B. Jordan. It's very situational, because for most of the movie I was like, this dirty white man's gonna
right.
But then when he hit that Irish accent, I was like, oh well, wait a minute.
When he hit that grin when Grace said, "Come in, motherfuckers," I was like, God damn it.
Oh no, I'm toxic.
just saw where someone posted a picture of him and Jacob Anderson. Maybe they were in a show together. And it was just like a young
Interview with a Vampire.
Right. I know. I was like, wait, a young Louis DuPont Delac.
Wait, was he in Scans too?
Yeah,
no, he wasn't.
I'll have to find it.
Everybody has been posting like the crossover Interview with the Vampire and Sinner stuff, and I've been enjoying it.
Oh, my God. So imagine
Interview with Sinners.
Yeah, so imagine Claudia and Louis managed to escape Lestat some kind of way, and they end up in a Mississippi juke joint. I mean, it's just like the perfect setup. And someone pointed out, it was such a good video, that the only thing Claudia ever wanted really was family. Like, she wanted family, she wanted community, she wanted to find other vampires that would accept her and welcome her. And it was the exact same thing that Mary and Stack and Annie and Smoke, like, that's the exact same thing. They wanted to be a family and they wanted to be together. And I was like, oh my God, like Anne Rice and that fuck ass Bob. Like, oh, what if she was here to see this?
So it was like Mary and Stack and Louis and Claudia and Madeline all get together, and then Madeline does like her own line of clothes, and Claudia and Mary are like her models and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, Claudia, I feel like Claudia and Mary would have been so good for each other, especially because so Mary, everybody keeps calling Mary a white woman. And like, I get
was she a mulatto?
She's passing. I think she's like an eighth.
It's a quadroon.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like, so
because I had to check. Because I was like, wait a minute. There wasn't no other light skin that can play this part. Hold on.
No.
I need a genealogy report.
Haley Steinfeld is actually like her.
She's 1/8.
She's got a black great grandparent and then like a Filipino grandparent.
As well. Yeah.
But I had to know.
She's the American melting pot. I
had to know.
But like everybody, that character specifically, there was also a lot of mixed feelings about that character, because everybody keeps saying that she's like the tragic mulatto trope, and I don't think that's true. I think actually she's supposed to be a sort of like, not critique, but like she's supposed to be going against the tragic mulatto trope, specifically because she liked her community. Yeah. She liked being like, her and Annie loved each other. They were like sisters. Annie even said that she was family. The only reason she was really gone was because Stack wanted her to marry that white man that she married so that she would be comfortable. And she did it because she loved Stack and was willing to listen to Stack and do that, right? Because she's like, I guess I could be stable or whatever.
Yeah. But tragic mulatto isn't just a mixed race person who was sad. Yeah. Tragic mulatto is somebody who is trying to deny their blackness, trying to fit into the white world, feeling like they don't fit, and they somehow die about it.
Right. JP, go ahead.
Mary is a very empowered character.
Go ahead, JP.
I feel like, even though Stack mentioned that he did set them up, I feel like low-key also, it was like between Mary's mother and Stack setting her up with that white man, because like, you would not have, Stack kept mentioning, we would not be safe with each other. So if her and Stack wouldn't be safe with each other, and if her mother is not white passing as well, she wouldn't be safe with her mother either.
Well, yeah, because like Stack even said, like, if somebody finds out that you are, because if somebody finds out that you are one of us, then you're gonna die. They're going to kill you, because how dare you sneak into their culture and their lives or whatever. And Mary knew that. Mary was like, the people who accept me, the people I'm a part of, even though I'm light as hell, like, it's these people, not white people. But like my mama and both Stack are saying, that I will at the very least have a comfortable life if I go with this man. So I'm gonna go with this man, no matter how unhappy I am. And I get it, especially as a woman in the 20s. Girl, you can't have a bank account. Like, what the fuck?
And when the vampires first show up, they're concerned that they're from Arkansas. So they might be people who know Mary and maybe looking into her background.
And especially because Arkansas is racist. Fuck, I know I got people there. Anyway, Tiffany, you were saying.
Well, I think in the context of the time, she was safe as long as she was with her community, right? So if she would have chose to live and walk her life as Black, then they could have been together. It wouldn't have been any issues. But once she made that decision to cross the color line, that's when it became unsafe.
But I also think she made that decision based off of what Stack and her mom were telling her. Because Stack was very much trying to push her away because Stack thought he knew best, and he thought, oh, she's going to be pampered if she's with the white. Because that is a common misconception Black people have, is that if you go to the white side of town, it's better. As a person who lived on the white side of town, no, it's not. It's just
I also thought it was a little bit more than that too, because if she had went with Stack, they weren't going to stay in their community, because Stack was going to Chicago. Stack was going to, wherever. He was also in the military. He was going places outside their community, and outside their community, she is a white woman.
They would have looked at her and been like, you're a white woman, and then seen Stack black and been like, okay, what the fuck? And then they would have killed her despite her.
Right. That's what I got when he said, you're not safe with me. That's what I got from that.
Yeah. There were people of her complexion that lived and moved Black.
They did. They did, but it just depends on where you're at. Like, being light-skinned in Louisiana is not the same as being light-skinned in California. It's not the same as being light-skinned in Arkansas. It's not the same as being light-skinned in New York. Like, they might be more used to it in maybe North Carolina or DC or New York or probably even Chicago, maybe. But Arkansas, that's a white woman. How dare you touch her?
Right. And then if they find out she has Black parents, then it's how dare you trick us?
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's amazing to me because, for me, I remember seeing Haley Steinfeld first in 2010 for True Grit, and I thought, oh, she's really a good actress, whatever. And this was around the time Hunger Games was going to be cast, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was her and Jennifer Lawrence up for the same Oscar that year. Jennifer Lawrence wins and she gets the role. But the thing is, Katniss is described as somebody who has olive skin and gray eyes and brown hair, who looks a lot more like
Haley Steinfeld.
Haley Steinfeld. And the thing about it is, where their district is located is so nerdy. It's in Appalachia, and there's a people there they'll call Mulengeon, who are mixed race, white, native, and Black.
Mm-hmm.
She looks much more like them. So to me, this whole time I'm like, y'all don't see she not white. So,
but that's the whole concept.
I understand why people don't, but at the same time, I'll look at those eyes, look at those nose,
Well, that's the whole concept of passing to begin with. There's how many stories have we heard of white people being able to pass around? What I think one of you guys told me the story about this man who was passing. He could pass for white, right? He spent his life walking through life as a Black man, but he could pass for white, and he knew in certain places that he could pass for white, and he had gone he had gone somewhere, and the white people realized he was in town, and they were looking for this man, and he was right there, but they didn't know he was there. But somebody in town who was Black was like, oh, that's him, and kind of caught him on the slide and was like, hey, they looking for somebody out here passing. You might want to get your Black ass out of here. It's that thing where sometimes it's very hard for them to see, and that's how some people can do it. But yeah, no, I think again, it's one of the things I do like about this movie is you have all of these characters that could be tropes, but are actually much more complicated as characters and as human beings, and I really like that about it. JP,
can we talk about? Okay, I have a lot of favorite scenes, but my favorite scene, and I feel like this actor should get his flowers for the setup for this scene. Cornbread coming trying to get back inside.
Yes. I loved every minute of that. Probably your stale ass grease that gave me the runs anyway.
She said, don't you talk about my cooking like that. I ain't never fried none of no stale grease.
Eddie said we are in the middle of a battle of life and death, but fuck you about my grease now. But the shit was good.
I felt okay, so I want this actor to get their flowers because the setup of this scene explained perfectly the hive mind, and also Remmick, his desperation in trying to get in, because before Cornbread got turned, he was not this nice happy-go-lucky person, but then when he came to the door and they looking at him hold on, something ain't right.
Nigga, and you've been out of here all day. Why you need us to invite you in all of a sudden?
You can see Cornbread when he's a vampire, reels turning like, oh shit, this nice shit ain't working. This ain't cornbread. And then how he turned me, how he started talking about Amy's grease, like, oh, don't fish. Like, so you can see all of the tricks and like that trying to pull to get inside of this goddamn juke joint.
He said, listen, here, you that nigga, you about to lie on me on my fish grease. I always got fresh shit. Don't like
you undead nigga. Because he was like, we instead of doing what we supposed to be doing. And he thought he had just spit fire then.
Yeah.
But when they came back with, well, what are we supposed to be doing?
What's to be doing?
Well, and that's also another thing about that scene that I found very interesting is because like there's it's unsure how much power Remmick has over how much agency these people have on their own outside of Remmick, right? And I think one of the scenes for me that kind of like showed that was this scene in particular, because there was a certain point when Cornbread started talking where he stopped sounding like a Black person and started sounding like a caricature of a Black person. And in my brain, I was like, that's Remmick talking. Mm-hmm. That's Remmick doing what he thinks it's supposed to sound like because he hasn't figured it out yet.
Yeah. And you could tell when he's like, nudging Cornbread, like, okay, dude, you're gonna have to figure it out, which is why he started talking shit about Amy's fish. Mm-hmm. And asking for the money and having a hand like that.
Yeah, but it was a good movie. I enjoyed it all 3 times when I watched it. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we start wrapping this up?
So, and did anybody mix up Annie as like Smoke's mom or sister or anything?
No.
I'm not racist, so I didn't.
Wait, the first scene that they were in together, they was fucking. So I would hope not.
Well, a lot of people apparently up until that point thought she might have been his mother or sister.
Seriously? Why?
Yes. She's fat is what it is. It's because she's a fat Black woman, so she's got to be somebody's mom. Right. Y'all not gonna do Wound Me Masako like this. That woman is too goddamn beautiful. Y'all to be treating her like this.
Okay. Also, because the mammy trope, they always have the big chest and a little bigger fat. So the minute they saw her big chest, her being like curvy, they was like, oh, that gotta be the mama. Because of the mammy trope.
Even though they are the same fucking age.
The same age. Literally the same age.
Well, I'll be the white person in the group. The only reason I thought that was because the grave he visited, I thought it was their father's grave. I didn't realize it was the baby's grave until I was like, oh,
so you got more context?
No, it was like after he was talking to her, I was like, wait, was that a handprint on? It's like my brain was replaying the scene. Like, was that a handprint on the rock? Why would his father? That doesn't make any sense. Right? I was like, wait a minute. So I had to replay the scene while watching the movie. That was the only reason why I had that split moment.
Go ahead, Tiffany.
The last time, the Choctaw. Like, I feel like we can't like end without talking about them. Like, because I think Ryan Coogler said he doesn't. This was supposed to be like a standalone movie. Like, he didn't intend to make like sequels or create like a Center's universe. But I would love it if, even if he just produced or supported it and gave us like a separate story on like
a graphic novel,
chasing this vampire down.
Yeah, the native vampire hunters.
Or even them, it don't even have to be the same vampire. It could be them keeping their community safe from vampires.
When they said to that woman, he's dangerous, and then looked and saw that KKK uniform in the background and were like, all right, well, peace out. I literally laughed out loud in the movie theater. I was like, yup, exactly. Get the hell on out of there. That's not your problem no more.
Well, we tried.
Never to be seen again.
Like, because the sun was going down. I'm like, why are you arguing with her? She said no, like go. Everybody
was
like, come on, man, like it's over, let it go.
It's over.
Well, it goes back to belief, because one of the things that I had heard or that I had seen was that it is, I don't know if it's necessarily a Choctaw specific belief, but there's this that like the vampires in like certain Native American folklores, it's not just the sun that they can't get near, it's also fire, right? Because fire, it was like the sun's hot, fire's hot, they don't like fucking hot shit, right? And so basically for them, their safety would have been torches, because they believed that would be the thing that would keep the vampire away. Torches or like firelight or whatever. campfires.
On fire. Like when we see him, they had been lighting his ass up. Like I believe that's who he was running from. His skin was literally smoking, and I don't think it was from the sun. I think it was them. They had been like tortured. Maybe I don't know why. Like I would love to know why they didn't kill him.
I think he just happened to get away. Is what it is.
He just had exactly. And they were like, "Well, sun's going down. I'm going home."
Yeah, they were like, "Well, that's your problem now. That's not my problem no more."
I really loved how the other two in the coach like pulled up their guns, pulled up her gun. The guy at the door was not afraid. He was just more like, "Girl, are you fucking serious?
You can kill me, but you not gonna get past these niggas back here."
Right. I love how we see the vultures here. We also see them with the twins, and we also see them later at the juke joint. But yes, there's also, I think, like towards the end, like when the credits are rolling, you see a couple of news articles. And so and you can also see them on Spotify. And like, so one of them is talking about like this ship from Ireland that had a lot of mysterious deaths, right?
It was very Dracula.
Yes. And then another one is talking about like this gang war fight between the Irish and the Italian in Chicago. So one of the things we didn't talk about was that Stack is dressed like an Italian gangster. Smoke is dressed like an Irish gangster. The Choctaw were some of the native people who sent money to the Irish during the British-induced famine. So the idea is that Remmick would have heard of this from there, and he was in Philly himself. He came over on that ship, tried to find, one of the same among the Choctaw, and they were like, "Get the hell out!" And so now he's on to the juke joint.
Can I also mention, like, with the Smokestack twins, that not only did they dress like the gangs they was part of in Chicago, but it also kind of matches their personality.
And I like the theory that someone had that when they were in Chicago, they presented themselves as one person.
Oh, I'm sure. I was like, I know they got into some twin antics in Chicago for sure.
I feel like it was implied in the movie too, was that like basically they were getting the information pretending to be one person and then like putting it on the other. Like basically it feels almost like one gang hired him to look at the other gang and see what was going on, and say vice versa. And so they were like, we'll pretend to be one person, we'll get the information, and we'll run off with the hooch and stuff ourselves.
They parent trapped the mafia.
Parent trap mafia.
Let's get together. Yeah.
Before we wrap, though, I did want to talk about, I'm not going to talk about the article because I didn't read it, the Polygon article where they said, if you watch Sinners and loved it, you should read this George R. R. Martin book. No, the fuck you shouldn't. I haven't even read that George R. R. Martin book.
Oh my God.
But I do have a list of books that I think people should read. They're not all vampire, but it's a mix. So there's this Ravenous Fate, which I think I talked about before, by Haley Dennings. It's a YA Harlem Renaissance era Black vampire novel. It's fucking fantastic. Then there's the Gilda stories by Joel Gomez, some old-fashioned Black lesbian vampires. Yes, and it is amazing. There's also The Trees by Percival Everett, which is not a vampire book, but it is definitely okay. I'm sorry because I'm laughing because it starts off really funny, but it's also really sad. So it starts off with a small town in Money, Mississippi, where the descendants of the people who both lynched Emmett Till and the white woman who lied on him are murdered. And next to their bodies are, their nuts are cut off, and holding their nuts is the corpse of a dead Black man.
Okay. Wow. All right.
And so this continues on for a while. It goes into lynching and it goes beyond Black people. It is a phenomenon that starts happening. In Money, Mississippi, though, it's the same Black man that keeps being found, and it likes 3 murders. And the body is done up like how Emmett Till was. It is dark. It is great, though. And then finally, Blood Slaves by Marcus Redmond, which comes out July 29th. Basically answers the question, was vampirism the answer to slavery this whole time? So imagine Remmick actually convinced some people Like, except it
And these
starts out,
niggas go buck wild.
Yeah.
it
I
starts out with
think
this whole,
Lestat and Remmick both answer no to that.
No,
they were like, hold on, let us cook. The whole book is like, I get your objections,
but what if we could just eat
But
these
what if
niggas?
though?
but what if?
What if?
So, I mean, no diss against George R. R. Martin, whatever, but absolutely the fuck not.
Polygon, you was wrong for that, and you know it.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, you couldn't go out and look for
Fledgling by Octavia Butler was right there.
Hello?
Like, there's so many books by other black authors that go
About black vampires.
natural, and
There's also that Storytime guy on TikTok who was very upset that there were no Latinos or Hispanics included in this film.
That's not.
So
especially after seeing a tamale shop in the movie, not knowing that there are a thing called Mississippi Delta tamales. They're specific to that region, and also all of the Latino people had been deported 2 years prior to the film taking place.
Like, okay. Like, I need some people to shut the fuck up, because like, y'all always want black entertainment, black focused media to include every fucking body, but y'all can't.
Well, here's the thing, and this is the thing.
The movie came out. Where were you, sir? Where were you? That was your chance.
Here's the thing. One of the things about Black cinema, even though we're not always the best at it, because sometimes some of our depictions are mad racist, we do often and almost always include other people of color. Like, Ryan Coogler is an example. The second Black Panther movie literally had Native Mexicans, well, I don't know if they were Mexican. Well, yeah, no, because they were supposed to be, anyway, it had Native Mexicans as literally one of the main characters in the movie. Like, they had they showed the whole civilization, and like,
I ignore them whenever they start talking about representation. As someone who watches telenovelas, and I never see anyone, not even darker than a paper bag. Like, they have a couple of shades to go to get to a paper bag. I don't take anything they have to say about representation seriously. Like, that's not our battle to fight. They can work that out on their own.
Especially because a lot of people, specifically with like Latina people in general, like Latina media likes to act like all Latina people look like Italians when the majority of them are Black as fuck. And like, how are you mad at our representation, at us not representing you when we actually do often, when you try to act like your darker people don't exist?
Yeah. Because remember, someone was complaining about, oh, when is someone who's Latino gonna win an Oscar? And I'm just like, hold on,
they dogged her. Like, I can't remember the movie that she was in, but she's indigenous, and she's indigenous in appearance, and she's not Spanish. Like, their preference, and they gave her shit. It's Spanish European appearance, and even their actors, a lot of their actors are from Europe. So,
but even before that, Rita Moreno won. I don't think she won an Oscar. I think she won like
some fuck shit too. It was Afro Latino who won that year.
Coleman Domingo.
Yeah. And that year, I forget which famous almost white passing Latino said it, but like, oh, when we gonna have one of our own win one? And people was looking at him like,
Coleman Domingo's right here.
Hello,
this is Spanish nigga right here. But yeah, anyway, let's wrap this up. First of all, I want to say thank you for listening. We very much appreciate it. If you want to find out where you can find us on the internet, you can follow us as a collective on our card, Nerdgasm Nerdgasm Noire .carrd.co. There you can find a link to our Patreon, which you should join and put money into, because one of the things that we do on the Patreon is we have extra special fun episodes of Smut Book Club. You can also find where we're at on social media, mostly on Bluesky. Also, you should check out our Twitch channel, which is also on there on Sundays, because we do me and JP do a fun little thing where we play our why can't am I having a stroke?
TTRPGs.
TTRPGs.
Who can't speak today?
Ghost.
We play TTRPGs with the homies. Yeah. So, Melissa, where can the people find you?
I'm glad you asked. I can be found on the following platforms. I'm on the Blue Skis. I like to ski as Mel's Crowded Show, as well as Black Girl.
I like the Skeeter.
I like the Skeeter.
The Muna and the Juna and the Springer. Sorry, I'm done. I'm sorry.
And on Threads, which is a thing I cannot give up because of book beef. You can find me at Mel's Crowded Show and Black Girl Geeky there.
Alrighty, and Maria, where can the people find you?
You can find me online, mostly on Blue Sky at valormordollars.bsky.social. That's VALARMOR. I'm also on another podcast called Roomies Review the Movies, where we talk about movies the other one had not seen before. And this week I picked Just Right with some movies we had not seen before. So you can join us there if you want to hear about what she thought about that.
And Tiffany, where can the people find you?
Okay, I am Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, YouTube. All of those places at Tress Tiffany.
JP, where can the people find you?
So you can find the platforms I am on with my card, which is jpfairfield.carrd.co. If you see me somewhere else, know you did it, because I ain't signed up for that.
And Storm, where can the people find you?
Traveling from state to state. So pick a state, I'm probably there.
Storm doesn't know where she is right now, okay?
Where in the world is Storm right now?
And of course, you can find anywhere I'm at on the internet on my card, nanicoolj.carrd.co. There you can find where I'm at. I'm usually on Bluesky, though I have not been taking Bluesky seriously lately. I've just been kind of like saying my weird thoughts in the air, which I probably shouldn't do. And you could also find my newsletter. Yeah, and that's basically it. Thank you everyone for listening, and bye-bye.
Hey everyone, it's me, Maria. Did you know that we have a Patreon? Well, if you didn't, you are missing out. If you join our Patreon, you'll get access to episodes of both Nerdgasm Noire and Smut Book Club a week early, as well as access to Patreon exclusive shows like A Diverse Mess. And that's not even all the stuff we have planned for you guys. So if you haven't already, make your way over to patreon.com/nerdgasmnoir and check out the perks like our other listeners Dovey, Jacqueline, Amma, Elle, Jules, and Slazinger have already done. Join the club. We hope to see you there. Bye.